You've probably heard it 1,000 times. Just get rich. Women love rich guys. And while it's true that wealth can make you more attractive in some contexts, the reality is far more complex and far more fascinating. Because being rich alone won't guarantee you the kind of deep, lasting, magnetic attraction you're really looking for. Today, we're going to unpack the real science behind why money doesn't automatically make you irresistible, and what actually does. Let's dive deep. Chapter 1: The Evolutionary Mismatch. Why money isn't everything. First, let's talk evolutionary biology. For tens of thousands of years, humans lived in small hunter-gatherer tribes where material wealth didn't exist in the way we know it today. There were no bank accounts, no luxury cars, no watches. So what did women look for in a mate? They looked for traits that signaled survival and reproductive fitness, strength, intelligence, social dominance, emotional stability, and the ability to navigate complex social dynamics. Fast forward to today's world. Wealth has become a proxy signal for some of those traits, like resourcefulness or status. But here's the catch. Wealth is now depersonalized. Anyone can inherit money, win the lottery, or even fake wealth on social media. Her brain, still running on ancient software, looks past the bank account to find authentic signals of competence and adaptability. This is known as an evolutionary mismatch. The environment has changed, but the underlying attraction mechanisms haven't. Chapter 2: The Neuroscience of Perceived Value. Why money alone isn't enough. Now, let's bring in neuroscience. The reward system in the brain, particularly the ventral tegmental area and the nucleus accumbens, responds to novelty, unpredictability, and challenge. These are the same circuits that drive attraction. While wealth might initially trigger curiosity, novelty, it quickly becomes predictable, especially if it's the only thing you're offering. The brain's dopamine system adapts, leading to habituation, the same phenomenon that makes new cars or new gadgets feel exciting at first, but boring after a while. This means that unless your wealth is coupled with behavioral traits like confidence, humor, or unpredictability, it fades as a dopamine trigger. Her brain seeks new sources of stimulation, and your money alone won't cut it. Chapter 3: The Social Signaling Trap. The Costly Signal Hypothesis. Let's talk about signaling theory, an area of evolutionary biology that explains how humans advertise their qualities to others. The costly signal hypothesis says that the most reliable signals are those that are hard to fake. While money can be a costly signal, if it's earned through hard work, intelligence, and perseverance, it can also be deceptive. In modern society, wealth can be inherited, gifted, or even borrowed. Women's brains have evolved to detect genuine competence, not just surface-level signals. She looks at how you behave with money. Are you generous? Or do you use wealth to control others? Are you adaptable and confident? Or are you hiding behind a fancy car because you lack social skills? Do you show emotional stability and leadership? Or do you crumble under pressure despite the money? These are the deeper signals her brain is wired to evaluate because they reveal the real man behind the wealth. Chapter 4: The Dominance Hierarchy. Money's place in social status. Let's shift to to social psychology. In every human group, whether it's a corporate office or a friend circle, there's a dominance hierarchy. Money can influence your position in that hierarchy, but it's not the only factor. Status is also determined by your ability to lead, influence others, handle conflict, and maintain social bonds. Research shows that even in high-income groups, men who lack social intelligence often get outcompeted by those who know how to navigate complex social dynamics, even if those men have less money. So while wealth can buy entry into certain circles, it doesn't automatically give you high status within them. Women's attraction circuits are tuned to status, but that status must feel earned and deserved, not just bought. Chapter 5: The Behavioral Economics of Desire, Scarcity, Abundance, and the Paradox of Choice. Now let's talk behavioral economics. When you flaunt wealth, you might think you're advertising abundance, but there's a paradox. When wealth is displayed without depth, it can create the perception of abundance without challenge. Her brain registers that you might be easy to get or even desperate to impress. This triggers a loss of perceived value, the same psychological effect that makes a luxury product less desirable when it's always on sale. The scarcity principle applies. Value is higher when it's scarce and earned, not just thrown at her. This means that even with money, you have to maintain an aura of selectivity and self-respect. Otherwise, your wealth becomes a commodity, and so do you. Chapter 6: The Myth of Provider versus Protector, the dual mating strategy. Evolutionary psychologists have identified what's called the dual mating strategy in female attraction. The provider, the man who can offer resources, stability, and investment in offspring. The protector, the man who displays genetic fitness, dominance, resilience, adaptability, and emotional strength. Wealth alone can signal the provider side, but it does little to signal the protector side unless it's coupled with the right behaviors. Women instinctively seek a balance of both. That's why men who are both confident and resourceful often have an edge over those who are just wealthy. Chapter 7: Real-world examples. Wealth without attraction. Let's ground this in reality. Think of celebrities who have enormous wealth but struggle with relationships. Their money buys them attention, but not necessarily respect or genuine desire. Many end up with partners who are attracted to the lifestyle, not the man himself. Meanwhile, look at men who might not be billionaires, but exude confidence, humor, and emotional mastery. They consistently attract women because their behavioral signals align with ancient attraction circuits. Chapter 8: The vortexprotocol, the science of real attraction. So how do you build real attraction that lasts? Inside the vortexprotocol, we teach you how to develop the traits that signal real value: confidence, adaptability, leadership, and resilience. Align your wealth with authentic behavior so that it becomes a signal of competence, not a crutch. Balance provider and protector energies so you hit both sides of the dual mating strategy. Maintain unpredictability and challenge so her dopamine system stays engaged. Use wealth as a tool, not an identity, so you're respected for who you are, not just what you have. Conclusion: being rich might open doors, but it won't make her truly desire you. Desire is rooted in ancient biology, dominance, emotional intelligence, confidence, adaptability, and the ability to challenge her without ever sacrificing your self-respect. If you're ready to stop hiding behind wealth and start building attraction that lasts, click the link below to discover the Vortex Protocol, the most scientifically grounded approach to dating mastery. Because in the end, it's not about what's in your bank account. It's about what's in your mind and how you use it.